Welcome back. Obviously, in this video, I have something new from Worker. This did come in with the last thing I got from Worker, which was the Cheetah. I'm still in talks with AK Blaster Mods, hopefully to get that thing figured out. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about this, the Phoenix. Obviously, there's been some mixed reviews. There's a lot of other people who have already reviewed this. This isn't necessarily going to be a new review because, hey, there's other people out there more interesting than me, I'm sure. The box did come in beautiful shape, as usual. Shipping and coming from overseas. Ooh, look at how magnificent it is. We also need our fantastic instructions. So, the blaster is pretty straightforward. I'm not going to get into all of this. Like I said, I know there's a million other videos. I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably have already watched them. Let's get into this and talk about it. For those of you who don't know, it does come with a angled mag, which is definitely shorter than the typical angle ones that you can get from Worker. It's a 10 round instead of an 18 round magazine, but it can still take the 18 round mags just fine. Now, everybody's kind of poo-pooing on it a little bit. I mean, the fact that it has 6 flywheels, the performance apparently hasn't been too terribly great. This isn't going to be my stock configuration, so I'm going to modify it. We'll see what it looks like after I'm finished. So after getting it out of the box and basically just installing the screws and the release for the mag, this is what we have. So the Phoenix is definitely a modular blaster. This was my setup. This did come in after I have done some of the initial filming, so you may not see this front handle. I do like this angled. It's literally just a front place for me to put my hand. Obviously, grabbing or gripping it is a little difficult. It works just to give me that extra little placement. It also prevents me from potentially turning this in the field or while I'm playing or trying to hold it oddly. So in my current configuration, I actually love this. This is a very nice tucked in close to your body SMG. It would be nice to potentially get a sling mount or something to at least have it be attached, at least like a loop or a D-ring. Something here would have been perfect. I really kind of wish they had done that, but you know, could always be added to the stock attachment later on or with a different type of stock. So when using this blaster, I do have some footage. I will be playing a lot of it right now with all of the different types of ammunition, running obviously elites and Adventure Force waffles that have been cut down. It's not the best performance. There are actually some lower performing darts. Now, the Adventure Force Pros actually get fairly good. They're better than either cut down elites or waffles. Gen 3 workers are phenomenally better. Now, granted, this is a worker blaster, so I would assume that their own ammunition would work better in this blaster. As well, on their rating for the batteries, I have 2 batteries available. When I was doing my testing, I was running my 2200 milliamp 40 to 50C discharge battery. Now, it's recommended that you're running a 2200 milliamp 45C. This battery on spool up seems to cause a little bit of issues, mostly with the battery alarm that I had in the blaster at the same time. So I wouldn't suggest this battery because I think it's getting pushed right to its limit, usually right on the initial spool up of the flywheels. I would highly suggest getting something like the Zippy 2200 milliamp, the 60C. This can be purchased from Out of Darts, and in all honesty, it's almost the exact same size. And from what I remember on other people's reviews, it actually should fit in the battery compartment fairly snugly, but yes, it should be fine. So based on performance, if you're running a game that says is a 150 cap, granted, if you're using different types of ammunition, that could keep you fine. Like I said, if you're doing cut downs, even some of the Adventure Force Pro, there are a few outliers that do tend to get over 150. So keep that in mind. And like I said, if you were running the The Gen 3s, you are already going to be above that. Most of my, darts, I got almost as hot as 170 in some cases. So that is something to keep in mind. Now, you could also change out the front barrel because the aluminum barrel is fairly short, actually, on this. You could pick up the extended barrels like the 10 centimeter or the 20 centimeter worker barrels that would obviously fit just fine in here, depending on what games you're trying to play. You may even be able to get lower, maybe down closer to the 140s, even 130s, especially if you're running this long of a barrel just from the barrel drag. I don't have any numbers on that. I can't confirm it, but at least with the modularity, you do have that option. So when it comes to the blaster, a lot of people are complaining. They seem to hate the price point. Luke is selling them at Out of Darts for $179 at the recording of this video. If you were to purchase this through AK Blaster Mods, it's actually closer to the $120 range, which is substantially cheaper. Now, granted, you do have to worry about the shipping, you do have to worry about the time that it's going to take, but it is a little bit cheaper if you go through AK Blaster Mods. So yeah, if you are going to decide to do it through AK Blaster Mods, I would definitely, if you've got other things that you've been looking to get, it is a little bit cheaper. Now, granted, with Luke, you do have the guarantee that it's already in the US. You don't have to wait. The tracking is usually very good, and it gets to you very quickly. So kind of weigh it out what you feel like doing. The other thing that I really liked about these blasters was the absolute mag release. That mag drop is so smooth. I absolutely love how easy this mag drop works on this blaster. The mag dump on this is actually pretty good. I do have some footage of that here. And it's not 3S rapid strike speeds for how quickly it can mag dump, but it's manageable. If you're trying to have suppressing fire, it's better that you don't go through your full mag so quickly. So even at maximum mag dump, you're not just completely flying through your ammunition. Is this blaster really right for you? Well, for me, on the price range, right out of the box, a 150, 160-ish FPS, variable speed blaster. Yes, it's not a select fire like, single burst or full auto. Yes, it's not the highest rate of fire, but in all honesty, those are just fun features, in my opinion. They don't really do us very, very much good. If you want high rate of fire, I would say you're going for Proton Pack area. You're going for a Prometheus. You're going for a Perseus with an extended hopper on it. A dart blaster should not really be at that kind of a speed. Those are really, really fun blasters, but for actual gameplay, I don't really see a huge case scenario for them. It's just a little bit too much, and you really are going to have to hold on to a lot of magazines to really make use of it, personally. I know somebody's going to probably have a comment saying, oh, well, in this case, it's better, or in this case, this is better. Look, for most of the games that I have played, for most of the games that I have seen, those types of features just don't really make sense. I've taken my Prometheus, and even then, that usually just dumps so much ammunition onto the field that dart sweep is always a complete pain in the butt. While it is fun to run it, it is still a nuisance, after only 15 minutes and dumping 300 rounds onto the field. A little bit of a pain. Same thing with my Proton Pack. I know eventually I'm going to get that up and running, and, I will be dumping even more rounds onto the field when I decide to do it. Either way, it's a good flywheeler. Like I said, it gets you into a good pro level. It's nice having the ability to do this. Granted, with clear plastics, you do have to worry about the plastics potentially being a little bit more fragile. They can develop cracks a little bit easier, so keep that in mind. Dropping this, while people have said they've dropped them already and they've taken the abuse fairly well, too much UV light on this from, being out in the sun and enough wear and tear, it could start to stress fracture this, so just keep that in mind. It's always something you need to worry about, clear plastics. Other than that, it's a solid build. It works fine. People who are worried about the electronics frying, in all honesty, any flywheeler, any electronic blaster has a potentially of eventually frying. These pulse width, modulation boards right here. You can get them from Out of Darts. Luke sells 2 different ones. If this goes out, just get another one. These are just motors. Swap them out. We have a huge selection of motors. The gearbox is something that you can get. Heck, I even have a metal gearbox available in my bins. Everything in this is replaceable, and things that can and will eventually go bad given enough use. Some people are just, hating on Worker. And yes, I do have a little bit of a bad experience with my last review that I did. But as of right now, this blaster is actually pretty good for my use case. If I don't want to run my Springer, or I want to break and I want to change up my gameplay or style, this is great. It's not my modified Strife. It's a full auto, SMG style blaster. And it's just plug and play. I like that. And it, like I said, it ticks some boxes for me that I just did not have. Thank you for sticking around. I hope this is beneficial to you. I hope this gives you some information that you can use. These are all just my opinions. Obviously, choose what you want to buy and choose if this is worth it to you. So thank you for sticking around, and I hope to see you in the next one. Hey, if you made it this far, you're awesome. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and come check me out over on Twitch to keep up to date on my current mods I'm working on. I hope to see you there sometime.